Welcome back, guys. Wholesaling apartments with the Flip Man. Setting up your closing. You have your buyer, you have your seller in place, contract signed, money is deposited at the closing, the title company. Now you're in the period where the title search has been done and you're dealing with the title company. So here's where a little bit of negotiations will be done as far as who you're going to deal with. Now, in most cases, your buyer, well, I'm not going to say most cases, that'll vary, but I'm going to say majority of the time buyers will want to use their own title companies and closing attorney because the one with all the gold makes a decision the way it works in this great capitalistic society of ours. So when dealing with the title company, you'll have the documents necessary to close the deal. You'll have the actual initial letter of the binding letter of intent with the seller, which gives you principal interest in within the transaction and that on that particular property, and then you'll have the actual contract with your buyer. Now, your buyer is going to be the one that's going to come up with the down payment, any proof of funds that are needed, and that all be provided to the title company. So you have to be an open book here in order to set this up. Now, sometimes a closing attorney will be used depending on what state you're in. So the way you'll structure the deal, which I'll include, you'll include a closing details document to identify who's getting paid what. The document basically will detail who the seller is, who's the buyer, the how your fee will be paid, whether it's an assignment fee or it's a marketing fee, whether it be just I've seen them where they structure a lien that's placed on the property to ensure you get paid. So all of that'll be who's paying closing, what percentage the seller will pay, what percentage the buyer will pay, the time frame, the date of the closing, where the closing will be located, how the funds will be received. All of that information will be included in the closing detail document that you and I will work on together to put together once it gets to that point. But as I said, this is a situation where you're still going to be very involved within the transaction because you need to have a contact person at the title company or the closing attorney's office on who's going to be able to answer questions for you as the transaction gets closer to closing. Because if this doesn't go right, this is where the transaction could possibly fall down, and you definitely don't want that to happen. Now, again, as far as choosing a title company, if you can control that, you want to control that. But a lot of times, as I always say, when people are starting out, don't even worry about that part of it because most seasoned buyers, which is what you'll be dealing with in most cases, they already have those relationships built. So the only thing you're going to do is piggyback off of those relationships. And you just need the actual person that they might not close the deal, but they're actually putting everything together. So it may be an assistant or a closing agent, whoever that may be. You need to know who that is so you can make sure that everything is going the way that it should be going to make the deal close. So setting up the closing, you hope that there's no issue with the title. That's where you'll do as much due diligence as you can to try to clear up any title issues because you'll be speaking directly with the seller themselves. In most cases, the seller and the buyer won't ever even talk to each other. And in some of these deals, a lot of these deals, they won't ever even meet each other. So all of it's done through paperwork and having confidence in a title company and or a closing attorney to make sure everything is done legally and above board here. So as I said, if there are any issues as far as the title company, the actual title itself, you want to be on top of it because you don't want it to be a situation where the seller is going to take care of it, but they may have so many other things going on. But if it's something that you could actually step in and do from your position, you want to try to expedite that as quickly as possible. I want to know what the problem is. If I can fix it, I can make a simple phone call or something, or send a fax or email, or go pick up a document, or overnight something, or whatever. I'm going to be the one to try to initiate that. I'm not going to wait on the seller or someone that they may owe money, or a lien, or something from a city, or county or state that they may have a lien or unpaid taxes or something, where they paid the tax, they just need a receipt. Now, you can't always wait on the seller. Like I said, they may not feel that it's urgent to close it in that sense, but you as the wholesaler, you have to bring a sense of urgency to the situation. And so you're going to be the one to actually control all of that by action. And so I'm strongly going to recommend that once it gets to this point, you want to build a relationship with that individual that's actually putting all of these documents and information together. So setting up the closing, you're there, but you want to make sure that this is not where the deal falls down because someone drops the ball, whether it's the title company, the buyer, the seller, whoever. You want to make sure that you're on top of everything within your power that you can do to make sure that everything goes smoothly here. So this is setting up the closing. As I said, it's just as simple as just getting all the documents over to according to the agreement over to the title company. Sometimes they'll want all the financials and everything, the rent rolls and all that may be part of what the buyer wants at the title company at the time of the closing for the attorney to review to make sure everything's above board. But again, you want to be the one to make sure that all of this is done. If the seller, you're only going to give them a short time frame to get anything done before you either following up with them or you're trying to do it yourself if that's an option for you to actually take care of it. I don't know how much I can stress this for you, but this is the point. You're at the finish line. The ribbon hasn't been cut yet, but you're at the finish line. You want to make sure that ribbon is cut, and the way you get that ribbon cut is a cashed check in hand or in your account or a wire in your account. So setting up the closing is just as important as any other phase as far as the buyers and sellers. You want to make sure that this goes through as smooth as possible. But again, I'm going to be here to help you with all of that. I just want to make sure that how important that this process here is. We're getting prepared to go to the next video. Wholesaling apartments with the Flip Man. See you on the next video. Thanks.